Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kelly and I am coming to you today with an original tag by Flossy at the Great Jelly Library. It is the Scooby Doo Book Tag. So thank you for creating such a fun tag and tagging me, Flossy. So the first prompt today is Zoinks, name a book that shocked you. This would be The Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. I loved the Grisha books. I liked all of them, but I did not like some things in this one, and there was something that was really gross that happened in this book. So I will not be continuing on with the series probably. It's just not for me. 2, Jinkies, name a book that made you feel weird, yucky, and not yourself. Well, other than Ninth House, that would be Mexican Gothic by Silvia Moreno Garcia. It started off so promising to me. It had some major Daphne du Maurier vibes. I felt a lot like Rebecca. And then it just started getting icky and moving pretty slowly while it was icky. So I did not feel like myself when reading that, and I did not enjoy it very much at all. Not how it's like when you start with something, you feel like such promise, and then it tanks for you. It was disappointing for me, but I've heard a lot of people do like that book. Number 3, Red Herring, name a book that ended entirely different than what you had expected it. So this would be Eleanor Oliphant is Completely Fine by Gail Honeyman. A lot of it ended up how I thought it would, but there was this one shocking twist, red herring at the end. Let me know if you guys have read this one. I loved it, and there was one shocking part of it that I was like, did not see coming. I thought things had wrapped up, and there's a little bit more. So let me know what you guys think about that if you read it. Number 4, would you do it for Scooby Snack? Name a book you were reluctant to read. You only read it because it was mainstream. And so this would be Verity by Colleen Hoover. I thought, well, you know, this might be an interesting thriller. I hadn't read any of her romance books, and I started it, and I was right to be a little hesitant because I DNF'd very quickly. 5, Ghost. Name a book that scared the daylights out of you. When I was a little girl, there was this book that it was not overly scary, but it made me like kind of excited, happy, scared. And it's called A Dollhouse Murders. I'll have to look up the author, but it's about a girl who is staying at her aunt's house, and a ghost is kind of trying to tell her what happened through the dolls in the dollhouse. And it was the first time like I felt that kind of good, not overly horror, kind of scared from a ghost story, and I really enjoyed it. But it was my first foray, and I was like a little bit, All right, number 6, Ruh-Roh, Raggy. A book that you had second thoughts about reading because once you started reading it, you found it to be too disturbing. Gosh, might have to answer Verity by Colleen Hoover for this one too. I'm trying to think if there's any other books that I just found too disturbing to continue. That's the one that really comes to my head. I hate to do 2 answers of the same one, but yeah, Verity definitely sticks to my head. Next, number 7. There's a very logical explanation for all this. Name a book that you were able to predict the outcome of. Okay, this was a somewhat recent read. Pride, Prejudice, and Peril by Katie Oliver, I think was the author's name. So this was a cozy mystery, and I usually don't guess the endings of these, and I completely guessed the outcome of this one. Number 8. Hey, you guys, look. Name a book that revealed something you didn't know. I'm going to go with The Killers of the Flower Moon. And this was a book by a man who did a lot of research into the Osage killings that had happened in like 1920s in Oklahoma. And it was kind of buried in Oklahoma, like unless you had read source material or you were actually part of that Native American community, you really didn't hear about it very much. And it was just a really sad, horrific time. in Oklahoma's history where there were people systematically killing off certain Osage people that were living on the land that had, you know, the oil on it, and the Osage people were there, and so they were getting the money from being on that land, and people were trying to kill them off to try to get the money. It was horrific and was buried for far too long. It wasn't in the history books until here recently. I think they started adding it in. All right, 9. And I would have gotten away with it if it weren't for you meddling kids. Name a book that focuses on a group of people as opposed to one singular protagonist. There are a lot of books that are like this. I think a good example of this would be several of Agatha Christie's books, but I think that And Then There Were None is a good example of that. So I'm going to tag Sandy at Ms. Reads a Lot because she is kind of a tag queen herself. She comes up with some great original tags. And I am also going to tag, I know I just tagged her, but she loves to do fun tag videos. I think she would enjoy this, Jess from Jess Reads. So you guys, thanks for watching. Read a lot. Bye-bye.